in 1960, there was kind of a trade war going on. And of course, you know, the Cuban government was nationalizing a lot of industries. And the last straw for the USA basically was when they nationalized American oil companies, you know, on the island. Yeah. And on top of that, we have, and this is right on the state.gov website. This is not like top secret information or anything.
Yeah,
you can go find this. This is on the State Department's Office of the Historian website. You can see right here, we're going to go through this real quick. This is a memorandum from April 6, 1960, talking about basically strategy against the, you know, socialist government in Cuba. Memorandum from Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs to the Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs. So, subject, the decline and fall of Castro. Salient considerations respecting the life of the present government of Cuba are: the majority of Cubans support Castro. The lowest estimate I've seen is 50%. There's no effective political opposition. Fidel Castro and other members of the Cuban government espouse or condone communist influence. Communist influence is pervading the government and the body politic at an amazingly fast rate. Militant opposition to Castro from without Cuba would only serve his and the communist cause. Here's the important point. The only foreseeable means of alienating internal support is through disenchantment and disaffection based on economic dissatisfaction and hardship.
It's so disgusting.
If the above are accepted or cannot be successfully countered, it follows that every possible means should be undertaken promptly to weaken the economic life of Cuba. So this has nothing to do with humanitarian reasons.
No.
It has nothing to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis, which a lot of people have said. It is simply a method of squeezing the people, putting the people through misery and hardship to undermine the government.
It's so disgusting that I cannot find any word to describe this.
Regardless of your thoughts and feelings on Castro or the government in Cuba or whatever, the embargo against the people of Cuba, and the people are the target, okay? The people are the target. The embargoes seek to cause disenchantment and disaffection based on economic dissatisfaction. That's a very polite way of saying starving the people to make them miserable so that they will want to change the government. Here's the other thing. Again, I'm just pointing this out as a data point, because one of the big issues that people are saying on, you know, social media and in the press is that, the Cuban people are starving. They need us to go in and
people are starving. We need airstrike. So what?
Well, we haven't gotten to the airstrike yet. That's a spoiler there. But bear in mind, the embargoes have severely restricted the economy. But despite the fact that the embargoes have severely restricted the economy, and nobody seems to have any explanation for this, but the United States has a rate of 0.9 malnutrition deaths per 100,000 people. 0.9. And Cuba has 0.24. So the United States has almost 4 times as many people per capita dying of malnutrition every year than Cuba. And just for reference, Vietnam is 0.02.
45 times less.
The mayor of Miami is saying that we need to airstrike Cuba and have assassinations and bombings in Cuba. As that's happening, they're showing footage of a pro-government, pro-socialism demonstration. Go look up the history of the 26th July movement, okay? Go look up that flag. That is Castro's flag.
Freaking 10D6 Julio.
if they actually knew anything about Cuba at all, they wouldn't put the footage up when they're talking about airstriking. It's absurd. I don't know what to tell you.
If there's American flags in any protest anywhere in the world, including the USA, that protest should not be supported. Because seriously,
not a bad rule.
What does the American flag stand for? What does the USA flag stand for? What kind of good value does that flag stand for? And like in a protest waving the American flag, do you think that we should support it? No. I'm sorry, from my perspective, no. It's a very good sign of color revolution. Like, when was the last time a protest in the USA proudly waved the American flag? The Capitol storm, yeah!
All we're trying to do really is show you what you're not seeing, in the mainstream press. And here's one huge movement here. Hold on. So there's one. Here is you can see it's massive. It's just massive, huge.
Yeah. But maybe they forced to do this,
Yeah.
They forced to do this by the government.
People on Twitter have said that they're being forced to go to these protests. So the idea is that yes, there are problems, and largely due to the sanctions, there are some people that are suffering in Cuba. That's nobody's denying that.
Nobody
right?
denying that.
Yes. And there's probably, frankly, some mismanagement or some systemic problems that need to be addressed. Even the Cuban government has said that.
Yes.
Even the president of Cuba went on the air and said he takes responsibility for a lot of the issues there, right? So that's not an issue. And Luna and I are not saying that things are perfect there and that nothing needs to change or anything like that. And that's not the point. The point is that what the imperialists are so good at doing is taking legitimate grievances and spinning them into
exaggerate it and then provoke people to protest. Exactly what I said in my 2 minutes video, you know, how to spot a kind of revolution. There's already some some issues, some problem. But the thing is the kind of revolution, the capitalists, they use it and they exaggerate it and then they make it a bigger problem and turn everything into politics, and then they use that issues that we have, because of course there's no perfect government in the world, including the freaking USA. But it doesn't mean that Cuba deserves to be sanctioned. Cuba deserves to be to have a military intervention or something, or bomb to the something like that. No, the USA has nothing to do with Cuba, and then hands off Cuba, and then none of the business there.